going on, Metal fans? Episode 8 here, and we've got professional ball player Justin Germain.
Real excited to be here, guys.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
What's up, Justin?
How we doing, Mitch?
I'm so good.
I gotta say, the mop that was going on in your head, it's a much better look now.
You didn't like the flow?
No.
The lettuce?
I don't think I would call it lettuce. It was
okay.
like cabbage, I would say. Cabbage is appropriate.
Okay.
You do look better.
I'm just not a fan. I like longer hair.
You don't like looking clean.
I like longer hair. I just like longer hair.
Well, so do I, but
He likes.
you can make it.
Maybe.
I'm just not a fan.
like in between.
I'm being
somewhere.
told. I've been told literally all day today. It's almost annoying. That I look way better. I just like longer hair.
It's fine to like it. You could be wrong, but you could like
that's
it.
fine. Yeah.
In the comments,
But I
everybody.
feel
Mitch's
felt
hair
better
long
with
or
long
short?
Yeah, let's hear it in the
hair.
comments,
I'll
please.
look right into the camera right now.
Give it a 360. Give it the profile too.
The whole thing.
Yep. Well, I wouldn't
There's
go
a
360.
back.
There's a lot of set here
Yeah,
you might
there's
knock over.
You watch John Boy Media at all?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So you know that one in the dumb where they go give it like a number.
Yep.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 8.
8.
2 8s.
Yeah.
What was the long hair?
You're
Let's hear long hair. Let's hear long hair.
like a
Okay, 1, 2, 3,
4.
4. Yeah, I was
You
at
were
around.
below.
I was about a
You were
4 though.
slow.
I really
Okay.
was at a 4.
Wow, that's fucked.
I
What about the beard?
I'm saying 8 as like your ceiling. Like that's
That's as high as I can go.
I think no, I'm saying
Wow.
as a 1 to 10 in Mitch. 1 to 10 in Mitch, you're at an 8 right now. I think like wedding Mitch will be a 10 because we're gonna take some time and take care of it.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do for the wedding. Yeah.
I
I mean, I'm gonna keep it.
I
Short.
don't think you should grow it.
No, I'm gonna keep it short.
Okay.
I just don't know what I'm gonna do exactly.
Do what the pirates do. They put the thing in, they light them on fire with the fuses.
Well, I think that was just one, but
Oh,
I would like to. I like the beard longer specifically. The hair
think-
I could do either or.
I think the beard can be longer, but it has to be
I
at
think you
least
gotta tr-
tapered.
yeah. You got to trim it. Like go for the double look or.
I'm gonna try to
something
do my own thing with the
Well,
beard.
I wouldn't do your own thing.
No. I just meant I went someplace to get it cut this time. I meant I'm going to try to. I'm gonna try to cut it.
For your wedding?
No,
Okay.
like soon. Like
All right.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right, we'll see.
All right, are we
You don't
done-
think-
Are
no.
we done beating up on Mitch?
We'll let him go for now.
Well, I got an 8 currently, so
Eight's not bad.
yeah.
A 8 on a Mitch scale.
I mean,
What's the
pity-
Mitch scale? Give me a 1 out of 10. Would you sleep with me?
How many drinks?
3.
No.
Oh wow.
I'm at 3 now.
You're not feeling anything?
No.
not even a throb. Damn.
That's okay.
Damn.
Win some, you lose some. Justin's more my type in a man.
I think he might be.
I like the
because you're in
bearded-
the you're
yeah.
in the Tom Brady type of look.
What?
You just got compared to Tom Brady.
All right.
No,
I
no,
guess.
but
Are you
I know
taking that?
You've told me on several occasions.
No, Tom Brady's
that,
not my like
Oh.
man.
Oh, I
man
thought you
type.
said you'd totally.
Well, I would because it's Tom Brady. but I'm
Right.
not-
Yeah. You gotta take
He's not my type.
what comes with it into
I like
account.
I like
guess.
a more burly. I'm
So
I'm a
he's-
burly guy.
Okay.
That's my type.
All right. So
I'm blushing.
This is weird. This is just make guests uncomfortable on the mental podcast.
and yet everybody's laughing.
That's true.
All right. So where do you want to start? I mean, you've got a little bit of background in baseball. Obviously, you're a professional ball player. You've played a little bit of minor league ball. Tell us some stuff, man. Give us some stories.
Yeah. So I mean, just to kind of double back into the fact that we're the mental podcast, right? I've always been somebody who has kind of struggled with an identity outside of a baseball player, and that's been very tough, like through high school, through even college. And I mean, honestly, still now it's towards the tail end of whatever I'm trying to do here. And it's very important and very, I would say, relieving and rewarding to find myself outside of the sport. But I mean, this sport is being a baseball player my entire life, growing up playing Little League at I almost named it, won't do that. But, playing since I was 4 years old until now I'm 25, and it's something you dive into, something that consumes your entire life to that point. So it was tough for me to differentiate the baseball player Justin and the human being Justin. For the longest time, that was one person. So I'm thankful now that relationships and friendships now exist outside of baseball, but for a good portion of my childhood and even early adolescence, there was no differentiation. I couldn't separate myself, and now, having that as two separate sides of the coin, the person and the baseball player, is phenomenal. But I love everything I've gotten out of the game. I've loved everything, every bit of the experience. I was lucky enough to play, indie ball, and I won't name the league, but it's one of the MLB affiliated partner leagues that go around the country, and it was a grind. We were basically living in like a VFW, like our some digs. It was, our home team and the away team would stay in the same building, and we were in cots. So it took me about half the season to be like, oh, I should probably buy an air mattress. So for the first month and a half of the season, I'm 6'5". I was probably 255 when I was playing, and I was on a 6 foot even cot, about 2.5 foot wide, with a metal bar in the middle. So it was challenging. It was tough. And am I thankful that I did it? Of course. But was it what I dreamt of? No, it never is. But I mean, I would not change anything that I did to get to that point. And I'm forever grateful for the opportunities, and for the continued opportunities. I mentioned before the podcast, I have an opportunity to play in one of the I guess premier winter leagues this upcoming winter, and I think that'll be sort of my make or break to decide whether or not I want to use year 26 on it, because that's old. That's old for this level. So I mean, that's something I got to come to terms with. So that's exciting and scary at the same time. So we'll see how that goes. But other than that, good friends with both of you. I've known you for a long time, so I appreciate you guys having me on the pod.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And I think to get an invite, it's pretty damn cool.
It's awesome. Yeah.
And last year was the first summer so 2022 was the first summer I had to go through and say, wow, I did not play baseball this summer. I did not play baseball this year, because as you guys know, I moved out of the area, so there wasn't even we have a sort of adult twilight league around here that I can at least mess around with to see a ball. There was none of that in 22.
That's right.
So that's the first time I had to look at myself and say, okay, there's 0% of me right now that's baseball player.
And that's like a really big thing. Like that actually, which I didn't not necessarily expect when we sat down here today, but that like resonates with me like on a whole different level, because I know, as you know, like I was always the kicker. I was a kicker. Like I was the kicker.
The golden toe.
For forever. Like that was just who I was. And like
Mitch and I went to high school together, yes. So I've known the golden toe for a while now.
but that's something that I like also really struggled with. Like when I stopped, I got hurt and stopped playing football, and that's like something that's like incredibly difficult to like grasp, and I don't think enough people talk about that at all, because it's like that's something my brother was a kicker before I was. I was out kicking a football when I was like 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I was kicking a football, and that's the only thing I did all the way through college or into college. It's tough.
It's tough to talk about even. Like it was my freshman year of college. After my freshman year, I ended up I took one of the first Division I offers I got out of high school, went there for a week, and I transferred out. I transferred to a JUCO, and there were friends that I lost because I was like at the point where I was too ashamed to even tell them where I was going to school.
Yeah.
And it was tough then, and I'm Irish Italian. My way of dealing with things is to just die. Like there's no dealing with anything. It's just, wow, I'm going to internalize this forever. Yeah. And I went to therapy after my freshman year, and that was a huge step for me, and huge step for like my comfort level of sharing things with other people. And it's coming to terms with where you are as an athlete after devoting your entire life to the sport is not easy.
Yeah,
it's not easy. It's never easy. It's never going to be an easy thing, and it's tough to talk about.
Yeah, it really is. Like that's something you're hitting me in the feels, because I had forgotten about it. I'm a little older than Justin, so I also stopped playing sports longer ago, and it's that, like, even just talking about it now, like that's literally all I did for my whole life. Like I was at I played in summer, I played fall, I played spring, I just played football every single day. And like I went with my dad. I kicked with my dad after football practice every day. We did not miss a day 365 days a year. We would go out Christmas Eve. We would shovel in the snow at the high school that was over by our house, and we kicked every single day. And like that stops, and it's like
you have to find something.
Yeah.
You have to find, and I'm like I said, we're here to talk about the positives on mental.
That's
so
true.
I'm very thankful for a lot of things in my she'll kill me, but I'm in the first relationship right now where my partner knows nothing of the baseball Justin. So I started seeing her this past summer. So she doesn't even know the baseball Justin. So that sort of makes myself look in the mirror and like, okay, like there is a person outside of this. So that's huge for me. And the positives, and you know, like you guys said in episode 1, finding stuff that help you mentally and just help all around and just help you as a person, help you deal with things. And that's finding myself outside of my sport. Just did that for me.
That's profoundly put.
That's one of the most profound things I'm sure you've heard me say. Because guys, this is not the conversation that me and Mitch usually have.
But you know, seriously though, thank you for like saying that you actually tried some therapy, because you know, because that takes a big man to admit that, you know, and I think that's really helpful for
and
people
it's hard
that are
for
watching.
men to say it. It's hard for men especially. It's tough for us to say like, okay, we're vulnerable, we're weak, and we're
a little bit closer to them.
Yeah, I got you. Sorry, guys.
You're good.
But yeah, no, it's tough for us. It's tough for us to come to terms with it. So I encourage everybody, if you're going through something, talk to somebody. Like it helped me a ton.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. That means that there's hope for a lot of people that are feeling kind of down.
Yeah.
It's cool. Very cool.
But on a lighter note, I'm sure we want to get to a lighter note.
Yeah. We talk about some more fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm glad you said
give
that.
us your.
I really am glad you said that.
Give us your your best and worst days out there playing.
So we'll stick with the indie ball thing. I mean, a lot of it turned into worse because the first half of my season, you know, I was in a league where the vast majority were one of two demographics: ex-AA, AAA, MLB players who are looking for an opportunity back in, or are a little bit over the hump and don't want to stop playing, or 18, 19-year-olds from the Dominican, from Cuba, from Puerto Rico, who this is their college ball almost. So there was a very wide demographic, and obviously with me living in a bunkhouse, essentially, I got to know a lot of people real well, and just, I mean, I'm sure I can find people who I played with who I could invite to my wedding. Like there's stuff like that. There's stories that I'm going to be thinking about. There's places that we went to that I never would have went to if I wasn't playing, you know, independent ball. And a lot of the off-field stuff kept me going for a long time. Like it was absolutely a grind. We were playing every day. The closest gym to where our home field was a 45-minute drive away. We were in the middle of nowhere. It was tough. Like I said, we're sleeping on a cot. Our showers, there's 4 showers in the one room. There's 50 people in it, and the showers are separated by like the thin plastic walls, and we're all just we're there. So we had to become a family real quick. So everybody knew each other very quickly in a lot of different ways. So I mean, the whole time, because you know we worked together, and I left for that. So the company we worked for allowed me to leave and do it. So it could have been worse. Like I had to keep telling myself like, oh, I'm playing baseball right now. Like there's a lot of things that I could be doing that are worse than playing baseball. This situation is wild in itself, and I definitely took a couple steps back every once in a while and looked around. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what is happening here? But I mean, no, you ask for best and worst day. It's the same day. It's the same day. It's looking around saying, oh, I get to play baseball, but I also am worried about all of my stuff just being disgusting on this floor right now, because there are, 8 teams in this league coming and going, and I don't think anybody has cleaned the place, and there's 4 showers. So I don't like it's, you know, you're wearing sandals in the showers. It's a lot. It's a lot for somebody who, I mean, I guess you can call it a first world problem, because a lot of these people who I was playing with, we were in a luxury housing for them. So I mean, you gotta stop and look at it from other perspectives. But it was an incredible opportunity. It's one I'm very thankful for. But like looking back, there were one of my favorite places to go out there was this dive bar that had a bowling alley and like a pool table, and it was the most pool I've played in a condensed time ever. And I was like, oh, I like pool, that's cool. But also the only thing that we could eat is bowling alley food. So just think of what's served at a bowling alley, and we're supposed to be professional athletes.
Yeah, you're
0 calories.
you get in, you get out, or you put in. Or,
that's
geez.
like I'm like, okay, I have to go perform my absolute best, and then I'm gonna go crush a few Miller Lights and eat some chicken tenders. Like it was a weird mix of day. Like it was just weird, but we did what we had to, and it was an incredible experience. So
how often was like practice and everything else there? Like what were you doing?
I mean, we were playing 5-6 games a week, so there wasn't a ton of practice. It was more so get in your own practice. So like,
Did you practice like beforehand? Like
it was pregame. I mean, beforehand it was the tryout circuit basically. So we went around. I was signed at a tryout in Pennsylvania, but prior to that I was in Florida, Virginia, and Minnesota for one. So there was like we went on a circuit. Like it was you had to find the right place to get signed or you're not getting signed. So I went around, you know, did my weekends, and it was obviously I was staying ready here. We have facilities that I work with. I have friends that were nice enough to help me out leading up through the process, but it was you're on your own here. And that Twilight League we mentioned, like playing around with that was my warm up. And as far as a ramp up, it's obviously nothing compared to what I was going to see, but just seeing live pitching, you know, it was measurable, the difference it made, obviously. But like practice during the season, you show up, you know, 5-6 hours early to go to the batting cage by yourself, and if you're lucky enough to get a partner to throw to you, like that was our practice. Because like I said, our rest days were rest days, because it was either travel or while I'm exhausted from playing those 10 games in a row.
So to the guys that are interested in following that and trying to get into it, you're really, it's on you.
Oh, it's all on you.
Yeah.
Like it's all on you. You know, I have as many complaints about coaching as any one person can possibly have leading up to it. But, you know, finding the motivation within yourself to say, I want to sleep on a cot for 3 months for that opportunity to break through is not something that many people have. And it's something that I had to question whether or not I had for the entire summer, essentially. So it's on you. It's all on you. It's on you to find the training facility, the partners that are going to push you. And that was my most important thing, is finding somebody who's going to go out there with me at every opportunity and push me the way I needed to be pushed. Because I mean, athletics were good where we are, like,
yeah,
but it's up until very recently, it was pretty unheard of to see somebody take that next jump.
Yeah.
So it was tough. It was tough, and it was tough to find somebody willing to push me like that. So if you can find yourself that training partner, that's what you need to stick with.
Yeah. I was watching the other day on MLB Network. They were talking the 88 Dodgers and bringing over Gibby and how much he pushed that team.
Yeah.
There's no way they would have made it otherwise. No way.
And
Not a chance.
It's always that one player. Like it's not the stat sheet, and that's so cliche and just dumb to hear.
Fuck Mike Trout.
I really want to dive into that one because
we're there.
I'm at that part, and I'm sure those listening already heard Mitchell go on a rant. If you didn't know the podcast episode, it's Fuck Aaron Rodgers, I believe it's called. So
I talking about Mike Trout in that one?
In that one. Yeah. So you just hate athletes in general.
I guess.
So
I don't, though.
Mike Trout being overrated.
Mike Trout is the most overrated player in baseball.
That part I don't even know if I can disagree with.
Yes, like who's more overrated? You're giving me a look. Who's more overrated than Mike Trout?
it's such a tough thing
That's
to
a tough.
jump into.
I can't jump into that because the guy.
Well, you could argue
if you put
Bryce
him on.
Harper, you could argue Bryce
I'm a
Harper's
big Bryce fan.
Yeah,
I'm
but
a
he's
big Harper.
a bit overrated.
He went
can't stay
so
healthy.
Bryce Harper was one of the
He's
few
playing,
people
I think,
where you
today,
saw
actually.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
He's one of the few people that I've seen in my lifetime go from wildly overrated to wildly underrated in the same career. Like it was a
you
very
don't think you
weird.
could classify him as overrated still, or is that
No,
past?
I think
That's
it's past overrated because I don't think anybody because it used to be Harper Trout.
yes.
It's obviously very clearly not Harper Trout.
I want to make something very clear. They're both fantastic baseball players, like great baseball players. I just think Mike Trout is grossly overpaid and overhyped.
Yeah, I think
And
I think
openly
he
say-
would
I
even
would-
say he would probably step back on his salary just so that they can get the
I
players
don't think he
to go
would
win.
necessarily.
I
You don't
think
think
at this
so?
point he
I think
won't.
he's made it clear that he doesn't value winning.
Oh,
And that's
I think
my
at this
opinion.
point in his career, I think it's super shitty to say he's earned that, but I mean,
How
I'm
do you
sure
earn
at a
that
point
if you've never
5-6
won
years
anything?
ago, I'm
He
sure
hasn't
at a
won
point
a playoff game.
if the Angels approached him 5-6 years ago about restructuring and saying like this is our goal. I mean, they went out and signed Anthony Rendon. Like that was a very clear push towards that direction, but Anthony Rendon just heisted the Angels out of money because apparently he was never what he was with
it's not even
Washington.
close.
But it's
and I like him too. It's so sad.
Watching him grab that fan. What was it? Opening day or
That
the
was
second
bad.
game?
That was
That was
the
tough
A's,
to watch.
wasn't it?
Yeah, I was
Was it
at
the
the
A's?
Coliseum. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they probably deserved it.
The fans, those poor fans don't deserve it.
All three fans showed up, and one of them
Yeah,
got choked by Anthony Rendon.
Can you imagine I'm just going to take it out on Anthony right here. Really?
And then he kind of like walked back on it. He was like, I'm a big fan. And Anthony Rendon's like, fuck you, dude. And I'm like, oh my God. Like that was wild to see. But do you know how many times, how many times in high school or college did you want to run into the stands on people? Like it was.
Dude, as a kicker, I'm telling you right now.
It's isolating.
And I got the absolute worst things yelled at me the entire time because I'm the only one. Like I am the focus when I'm there.
It's like a free throw.
And there was the opposing team was yelling things. The fans are yelling things. Dude, the amount of things that got yelled about, like my mom, my sisters, which don't exist. Like I don't even have any sisters.
Those are I've thrown some
wild
at sisters
stuff.
that don't exist. Like it's crazy.
Like wild things were yelled at me. There was a lot of times that I was like, I would love to just sock this dude right now.
And I mean, God bless Anthony Rendon. You know, that's all I gotta say about it. Like,
Well, let me ask you this: like, in the league that you played in, how much mind games were there being played amongst players like that? Would you run into that at all?
Not much, because at that level, it's almost a mutual understanding. Because when we got into playoffs, like it was, or like later in the season, you know, a series that meant a lot to the season. Yes, there was going to be some shit talk. There was going to be, you know, some heightened competitiveness between players. But other than that, you kind of understood that everybody was in the same boat. When in a level like that, it's like, okay, we're all grinding for this. Like we're not
kind
in
of all on the same
single
team
right.
almost.
It's
Same
like
respect
I said,
level.
you almost look at the league like that. Like, okay, the teams aren't affiliated, but the league is affiliated. Like that's kind of how it feels throughout the league. Like, okay, like, you know, if I see somebody from Team A get called up, I'm ecstatic.
Yeah,
I'm like,
happy.
I'm ecstatic for
I'm
them.
happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I really am happy to hear that.
That is cool to hear.
And it's like down at that level, it's not like that. It's not everybody is rooting for each other at that level. Like, yeah, it's baseball. Yeah, we're all wildly competitive. That's how we got to that level. But it's very much rooting for each other. It's very much rooting
Pirates
for
player.
Drew
13 seasons.
I apologize that I'm probably butchering his last name. It's either Maggie or Maggie. I'm sure we can now segue this into the rule changes, because during his ovation he got called for a strike for the delay.
Yeah.
So that have a feel. MLB umpires who are watching, and I know that you are, just have a feel for the game, have a feel for the flow. And I know a bunch of things are coming out now where they now have to, it was in the beginning of the year, but now it's coming to light because of this situation. You have to give the umpires a 24-hour notice if there are going to be any sort of significant ovation-worthy events.
Yeah, but do they not? Are they under a rock? They can't be like,
if
hey,
it's
this
Angel
dude just
Hernandez,
came
I'm
up-
sure he just wants it about him. I don't know
I
who.
hate that man so much. We might get sued because
He's
just
that
not-
kind of
he's just-
person.
he is that.
He
type of
wants
person.
this
I mean, he
podcast.
sued baseball. He sued MLB.
Like he,
Have you
and they
noticed
said, no,
he's
this guy's
he's-
just shitty at his job.
This is about as quiet as a start of
Yeah.
the season as he's had.
because everything else is going on. It's like there's so much other nonsense going on.
When did his lawsuit end? Because it ended somewhat recently.
It was
So maybe he actually decided to shut the fuck up.
Maybe he was like, wow, maybe I'm the problem. Like in his lawsuit, they just brought him in. They were like,
They were
Exhibit
like, "You're
A,
just terrible at
here's
your
your
job."
strike
Yeah.
zone for the last 4 years. Like, and he's like, oh
We're
wow,
not being
I don't,
racist. You're just
I don't know if
terrible.
I can defend that. Like it's like you gotta wonder what happened there because he is garbage. He is one of the worst human beings. I will take a step above umpire. Umpires who make the game about them.
I agree with that.
I was gonna say something very bad as far as what they deserve, which I won't say, but they deserve at least like a BB pellet to the back or something. Like it's something negative has to happen to Angel Hernandez. Like I'm not wishing ill will on anybody.
I think it's already happening.
but
It kinda
if somebody throws a
'Cause
water
he's gonna be
bottle
like
at
the
him,
most infamous.
which
Somebody
isn't
might.
good. Like if you know
Well,
somebody,
that's what I'm
if you
saying.
know an umpire's name, it's never good.
Yeah. Except for that one. Who was the one that just retired?
The one who
He
had
got-
like
he
the best
actually got,
record.
like,
Yeah,
ovation.
he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe West.
No. Joe West is almost at that point where he's like so far
He retired.
out
right?
of
Yeah.
and he was like it was almost funny
I was
towards
gonna
the
say
end
he's
of it.
kind of fun. And
Yeah.
but he also like accepted it.
He did.
Like
Yeah.
Angel Hernandez is like, I'm good.
Yeah,
He was
he's
like,
why
yeah,
am I
fuck you."
not?
Joe West was like, yeah, fuck you.
He's
That's a
like,
strike.
"Ah."
Get out.
He's like I don't like your face. Like no, it was, but no, it's game. Nobody's coming to watch Angel Hernandez. But I mean,
I wonder how many times he's heard the word horse shit.
that's a good word. First of all, it's definitely the word you would want to track for sure because I'm sure that's up there.
It's got to be something like 1 million times he's heard it from people.
I'm sure douchebag is up. Like there's a lot of horseshit is
that's
that's
big
up
one.
there. That's a good one. Asshole. Like it's but
I just don't
horse
understand, why
shit.
does he have like if you have that lawsuit, if you go through the whole thing, if you're like,
Yeah.
here's all the statistics, why is this man still employed? Why
It's
does
the
he still
union.
have a
It's
job?
all the union. It's
union,
all the
yeah.
union. But I don't even know how you're a part of the umpires union looking at that and accepting. Like,
yeah. Like how can the
Well,
there has to be a vote. There has to be a
that's
way
what I
to
was about
get you
say.
out.
How does the umpires union? How can that look? How can they look at it and be like, yeah, this is who we want?
I don't know who he has
on
pictures
TV.
of, but it's somebody important.
You think maybe
Like,
they got
that's-
stuck? Like if they had fired him, then he would have had a suit for like racism or something.
But that's what he sued them over. He sued
Right.
them that he
But
wasn't
if they had-
getting any playoff games because based on his
Right.
race.
Right, but maybe MLB held back because of that. They're like, we just don't want to.
But,
touch
like,
that.
I'm
If you
sure it could
make-
have been a I don't want to deal with this,
Yeah.
but you don't have a case.
True, you're right.
Clearly.
I,
I love, you gotta love the instant like all the pitch counts that you can see now. It's so perfect. What they're really screwing up is just amazing to
Yeah.
watch nowadays.
well, you,
So
Yeah,
clear.
because you can actually see everything.
Yeah,
And they have like the 3D.
the John Boy
pitch
breakdowns.
rotates.
Oh
yeah,
my
the
god!
pitch clock, or the framing isn't even 2D anymore. Like
Yeah.
it actually shows
It'll
where it hit
rotate
the
and
box
say-
and
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
but they're doing it, and I think it was a single A last year where you can challenge. Like I saw a video on Jason Dominguez last year,
See, I don't
prospect
like
for the
that,
Yankees.
actually.
Challenging. I think you either have to go like that's dipping a toe into robo-umps. I
I
don't
think it
think you
should
dip
just
a
be
toe.
robo-umps.
I think you either go all in
Yeah.
or you have none of it.
Yes.
So I think the challenge is dipping a toe because what does that really solve? Like that's
Yeah.
still you're
I mean, I
fighting to
guess
speed.
It would solve it.
It solves it, but
Yeah.
you're fighting to speed up the pace. And I know it's almost immediate with stuff like
Yeah.
that, but still, you step out, you tap the helmet, you
Yeah.
okay, it was a ball. Okay, now replay, and
I mean,
it
it's
just
been
ruins
great
the
this
flow.
year. Baseball's been great this year. Have you been watching like a bit?
So, out of all the rule changes, I think the pitch clock needs to, as we already kind of touched on, I think there has to be some sort of feel to it. I don't think it should be cut and dry.
Oh,
And then
I
I
disagree.
acknowledge that it becomes tough to not be cut and dry.
Yeah.
Like so you have Drew Maggi coming out 13 years. You would think
Well, that's like an exception.
it's an exception, but it wasn't.
I understand that. but that I get what you're saying with it should not be as cut and dry, but there's like very few of those exceptions.
There are very few. I
do agree with you. That should not have been.
I am one of the few baseball players who I think overall the rule changes will help the game. I think it's beneficial. Do I think it all needed to happen at once? No. And do I think it's helpful?
They should have done more.
What more? Let's hear that.
I think robo
umps could be.
I think they should have been a thing this year. I think they could have been a thing this year.
Well, it could have been
because they have them in other leagues. They have them in other minor leagues.
So we touched on another one of the independent leagues that is doing a lot of the testing for MLB. They have done the robo ump, and I've talked to plenty within that organization. They don't love it. They don't love the robo ump, and they don't think that it's the most accurate thing in the world. So I don't think it's ready. I think it's almost there. I think you leave humans in the field. I think you have first, second, and third.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think robo umps can be beneficial. I think there's the only thing keeping somebody behind home plate is the fact that it's America's game, and you want some sort of
the baseball old heads will kill me for this, but this is another hill that I'll like absolutely die on. The strike zone is the fucking strike zone, and there's not a different strike zone for different umpires. Right. That's just not how it fucking works.
Yep.
It's clearly defined strike zone, and that's the strike zone.
Yep. I'm a Yankees fan. Mitch is a Red Sox fan, but I spent a lot of my time watching Aaron Judge getting called on pitches
not strikes
that were simply not strikes.
Yeah,
it's
for him because he's giant.
Yeah, it's either shin high or chest high. Like regardless, like you're like, oh, he's 6'7". I'm gonna call this pitch at his nipples a strike.
Yeah,
like that can't be it. Like that.
Right.
The dude has the biggest strike zone in baseball,
and you don't need to expand,
which he actually does because he's huge. But he's got the biggest strike zone in baseball, and he's getting called for pitches that is below his knees, easy,
inexcusable.
Yeah. I agree with that. I also like Aaron Judge. He's the only Yankee that I like.
I think the pickoff rule is beneficial because I do like the increase in stolen bases. I like the increase of small ball in baseball. I think it makes it fun. I think it makes it more exciting because we were getting to a point there where it was home run or strikeout, and it was. I'm not going to say it was tough to watch because I still sat there and put myself through it. Right, exactly.
Dude, it was starting to grow tiresome for me.
Well,
I didn't.
That's what's great about the game of baseball, though, right? Because it's still a big chessboard, no matter how you do it.
Yeah. But it was. I don't know. I was getting tired of it. I've been watching more baseball this year than I have in the last probably 2 or 3 years.
I think we're approaching a happy medium with the rule changes. I think obviously you're still going to pay sluggers to slug.
Yeah.
But I think the pickoff rules. I don't think the bases expanding are making that much of a difference.
I think it's helping with stealing.
I don't know.
I don't know how much it is. I would like to see how many bang plays are being affected by the extra 2 inches.
And we won't know that until the end of the year.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But
I think that combined with the throw.
I think everything. Yeah, I think the pickoff limit is incredible. Yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think pitchers obviously hate it, but pitchers can also use the pitch clock to their advantage. And you've seen, I know how much you love Scherzer, and we'll get into that. But Scherzer has used it to his advantage. Like if you're set in there with Scherzer and he's looking at you and you're looking at him, and there's 9 seconds on that pitch clock, he's throwing that ball with 1 second left.
Yeah.
And you know how uncomfortable of an at bat that is, looking at this man with 2 different colored eyeballs, staring at you, drooling, spitting at you for 9 seconds until he throws the ball. That's terrifying.
And with all the sticky stuff that he has on his hands. That's crazy. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Dude, I love that. That's my favorite part about the whole game.
Yeah, it
truly is.
It brings a mental aspect into it, and it's very cool.
It's been a lot of fun this year. I'm like super happy with baseball this year, and the Red Sox aren't even very good.
Well, the Yankees are in last, so
the Yankees hit last.
Yeah, 15-14 as we speak at time of print.
I think the Red Sox are
15-14. I think they're 15-14.
I think they're
well.
16-14.
They could be at this point.
But
so it was
that changes in the AL.
What's absolutely crazy is that the American League East has no team under 500.
So I saw a stat. I think it might have actually been put out.
500.
It might have been put out by, I think, Talking Baseball put this out. The American League East is playing at a 103 win pace, and then you have the AL Central playing at a 63 win pace. Like it was.
I'm a big advocate, which I don't know how you do it, but I'm a big advocate for splitting up the American League East.
I think
Dude, there's
I
no
think
reason. There's
I love hockey playoffs in that it's two-
not by the division.
right.
Yeah.
Like you get you get in for winning your division. However, it's and basketball is sort of the same.
Yeah.
You're a 1 through 8
Well,
seed.
everyone makes it in basketball now.
Right. It's the play-in games 7 through 10. It's all that. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeded, the East and West. So I think something like that could be beneficial to baseball, especially when you see some of these divisions get so loaded. Even the NL East. The NL East is the same way right now. Like
It
it's
is.
loaded. It's loaded, and I mean,
That's a money problem, though. Like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, isn't it a money problem?
I could see it being a money problem, but I could
the
also
A's
see
are
it.
taking everyone's money
That's
and
a
not
different-
buying players.
That,
Right,
You're
that's-
right. You're right. But that's a management problem.
Yes.
That's an ownership problem. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a big advocate for them to be splitting up, but I don't know how you do that because you want the Red Sox and Yankees to still be in the same division. Like, you
Right,
have to have
but
the
you
Red Sox
can
and
you
Yankees.
can
Yeah.
do that in the East and West.
That's true.
So I mean, you're still essentially. I mean, obviously it'll be weird. Like you'll end up seeing, the Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, and probably Baltimore and Toronto at that point being in the same. So it's a
then you-
weird
But then you're almost
rebrand,
in the same situation because
Right.
all those teams are still very good.
right? So it becomes, where do we draw the line? Do we just
But travel is so easy now, and you did it like travel's
travel's easy? I mean, at our level,
I was
we were
gonna say it's
driving
not
our own
quite
cars,
I was gonna say
but
it's not quite
that
the same
was
thing.
much
But
different.
they
we were
have,
getting
like,
reimbursed for gas, but we were driving our own
They
cars.
have like their own private jets that have like
Yeah,
saunas
that
and stuff in
shouldn't-
them.
right.
You think they can travel across the country?
You're not
and play
flying
baseball
Southwest.
games.
Like
Yeah.
it's you're comfy. You're comfy. You can.
Maybe you get rid of NL, AL. I mean, the rules are all the same anyways. No.
I mean,
Now, yeah.
now that it's the same thing. So now you take away NL, AL, and do East West. Like that's where you can look into doing something like that. But I mean, you've seen it. So, and I hate to keep calling out the AL Central, but fuck, like there's been years where they have taken away playoff spots from very deserving
Yeah.
teams, and the same thing with the NL. Like you have the NL West, and it was the same thing out there before they expanded the wild card. You were seeing 100-win teams having to play an away series, and like it was a joke. It was a joke. It was a
Pisses you
joke.
off as a It just you're like,
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is on that one, but that
Me
one is, like,
either,
a
but there
problem.
has to be something.
Yeah. Someone more intelligent than the three of us can figure.
Could
that
probably
out.
figure it
Yeah.
out better than we can at this moment.
Oh,
Dan
100%.
Patrick, throw Dan Patrick on it.
I'll let him know.
He's been, dude. He's the one. He came up with the basketball set. He came up with the new rules for the. Well, I don't know if he actually came up with them, but he's the one that pitched the new rules for players winning MVP. Like you can't win the MVP if you don't play a certain number of games. Like,
Yeah, I think that's important.
I think it is.
I think that's all right. I'm good with that.
I
Yeah.
hate that in basketball.
The
Like-
resting.
Yes, and I'm not like I enjoy basketball a lot, but I wouldn't call myself a basketball fan. So like I watch like games, and I'm like I don't understand how this is a foul. I don't like. I'm sure it is. Like I sit
Yeah.
there, I'm like I'm sure
I just
this
don't
is
know
a-
why.
Yeah, like I'm sure that is a foul,
Right.
but I don't know why he got called for that. That's stupid to me.
All right. So,
So
where,
I'm not a real fan. So you should take almost nothing from.
where do you guys sit on Cy Young MVP?
What do you mean by where do we?
The
sit?
fact that there's two of them is that
No,
what you're
no, like before a pitcher could take both.
Yeah, I think they should. be able to
I
take both.
think.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that becomes
Because
the
the Cy Young
same.
is a pitcher's award.
No, I
Can you
understand
win?
that, but-
Can you win Rookie of the Year and win MVP?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
can.
So
Yeah.
why can't you be a pitcher and win?
When are we going to separate MVP and quarterback?
Ooh.
That'll never happen.
But it should.
I don't think it should.
I think it should.
The quarterback's the most valuable position on the field,
It is.
and it's called the most valuable player.
I don't disagree, but it's become
but
a quarterback
he's-
award.
Right, because they're
Yeah.
the most valuable player.
I agree.
So
But
we're going round.
we're
and round
we're
here.
we're agreeing, but coming with different solutions.
see
Like
that.
Right.
does it become boring? Like, would it have been cool to see Justin Jefferson in the conversation for an MVP?
He should have at least been in the conversation, but I still don't think he was the MVP.
I don't think he was.
Yeah.
No, because the quarterbacks are the most valuable position on the field.
Yeah, but then what are you calling it? Like the Tom Brady Award?
I'm not necessarily. I'm now calling it the Patrick Mahomes Award. Like
That's
it's
crazy.
it's. But I mean, right now it's like it's turned into. If it's that much of a conversation with, is this finally going to be the year a non-quarterback wins the MVP? Quarterback is always like it always. I don't disagree with who wins the award. Do I think it would be cooler to
But that
see a
doesn't-
separation?
Doesn't that
It
like take away?
dilutes
from
the award.
quarterbacks,
It
though? Well,
dilutes-
no, it takes it away from the quarterback. If you make a quarterback specific award, I would feel that takes away from the quarterback, which is the most valuable position.
We're saying the same thing.
The way I see it,
Yeah,
though,
but what's the solution?
is that
Because I don't know
he's
how
only he's only as valuable as his front line. If the front line's not doing their job, he's not making his plays.
Yes and no, though, because there's quarterbacks that have
You have
gone
mobile
around-
quarterbacks
yes.
that can have
like
you
when
know
Lamar
Swiss
Jackson
cheese.
won the MVP. He didn't get it for throwing.
No, but he had the Ravens still had a good offensive
The
line
Ravens
when
always have a decent offensive
right.
line,
But it's like you said, he didn't necessarily get it from pocket passing.
Yeah.
So it's tough because I think we all agree quarterback is the most valuable position on the field. I think every past MVP who has been a quarterback has deserved the most valuable player award. Does it get a little predictable, a little
very.
yeah, but that's
It
what I'm
gets
saying. Like it's what if you had, what if you didn't have the Cy Young? It's almost I mean, I know it's totally different. It's totally different to look at as from a baseball versus football perspective. But if you don't have a Cy Young, how many MVPs do you have from the mound?
I don't think that many.
Right.
Honest.
Well, I don't know how relevant of a point that is, but that's
Yeah.
sort of
It would appear to be pretty rare.
it's
It'd be
tough to
very
have a
rare, yeah.
non-everyday player win it in baseball. Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, Verlander in whatever year that was with Detroit, like it's
I don't know. I understand I get what you're saying. I just don't I don't find a way of doing that without diluting one or the
you're
other.
absolutely diluting it.
Yeah.
But that's I think but they try to do it with like the OPOY, like offensive player of the year, and then they'll give it to somebody who's not the quarterback, which that's
Right.
also
It's like the quarterbacks aren't allowed to get offensive player of the year.
which either eliminate that or make it a quarterback award. Like I think the offensive player of the year award is worthless. I think that's a dumb
Yeah, I
award.
agree with that.
think
I don't even know who won
I
it
think you
last
should have a DPOY.
Who won it last year?
I think
Was it Justin Jefferson?
I think I don't want to say anything to make me wrong.
Yeah, because I'm
But
sure I'm
It's
wrong.
it was either Jefferson or Mahomes, and Mahomes either won both, or Mahomes won MVP and Jefferson won Offensive Player of the Year, which is nonsense. Because
Sorry,
Mahomes
dude.
plays offense.
Sorry, dude. You just get a dust collector. Doesn't mean shit.
Well, you also get like the benefits that come with it, and it does go on like your Hall of Fame resume and everything.
Of course,
else, but
of course. I think
Good point.
DPOY is. I think Defensive Player of the Year is important because
I think that should be changed as well, though, because there's certain times like, dude, you can make big arguments. Everyone knows my love for Tom Brady, but you can make big arguments.
It's deep.
You can make big arguments.
It's deep.
With the Buccaneers and stuff. The Buccaneers defense won that Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
So like, I feel like the Defensive Player of the Year should be like a bigger award.
But the
There should be
defense
larger.
with that squad, it was less individualized than the offense.
You're
was.
right.
So it's wow, that entire defense is a unit.
You're right.
Like that's a disgusting unit. We don't want to
Also,
face them.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I don't know how. I'm gonna throw this out there. Shaq Barrett's daughter, 2-year-old daughter, passed away.
Yeah.
She drowned in a pool.
Yeah.
Like
At
2
their
days
home.
ago.
At their home.
In their home.
I think it was
Sorry.
yesterday.
So I wanted to throw that out there, like R.I.P. and
Yeah,
and,
that, it's
a moment of silence for that. 'cause
disgusting to
that's
think about.
terrible.
That's
Yeah.
I can't imagine going
Yeah.
through that for anybody.
That's awful.
Yeah.
But anyway, now that I said that.
Yeah, let's just move on
Let's
from
just-
that. Like that.
Let's just put a
What's the
graveyard right in the
segue
middle
there?
of the podcast.
I wanted to. I just
wanted to
wanted
at least acknowledge it. We're
Yeah.
talking
You're gonna
about
read
the
the
Tampa
obits
Bay
now?
Buccaneers defense.
Jesus Christ! You gonna read the obituaries now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Pull it up on the
Who
screen
died in
for me.
baseball today?
Yeah.
Put it in the
Somebody.
comments.
I'm sure there's somebody. Damn. All right. I was trying to do something nice. I feel terrible. Like that's an
We're
awful
just fucking
thing.
with
It's
it.
tough to go through
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm-
I can't imagine.
I was gonna say I can't even imagine. Yeah.
But fuck yeah. I mean, like I said, Shaq Barrett, I know that you're watching,
He's
so
definitely listening.
I do apologize for what you're going through right now. But no, that's wild to think about. Wild to think
Yeah.
about. But
I
anyway,
did kill that thing.
anyway,
I felt like that was important to say. Now that I've just absolutely.
I feel like a piece of shit for laughing after you said it.
derailed.
but
Now that I've derailed this
I was smiling
podcast.
because
I don't.
I was
I'm
smiling
because
honestly, I'm like, I didn't know who you were talking about.
He was one of the very good defenders for
Okay.
Tampa
For
Bay
the
the last
Bucs,
couple of
yeah.
years,
Okay.
and like on their Super Bowl team and stuff.
All
He's
right.
a very, very good defensive player.
Maybe we might want to edit. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll
I
leave
don't
it in.
know.
I don't
No.
know.
I'm gonna leave it in.
leave in the uncomfy, I
Yeah.
guess.
All right. That's okay.
I felt it was important to bring up. I feel terrible for the guy.
Oh yeah, that's totally fine. We're just giving you shit.
Yeah.
I know you were saying that you're getting pretty into NBA playoffs.
I'm big in the NBA playoffs.
So
I've been watching almost every game.
I've gotten pretty involved myself. I'm a Celtics fan. Being where I was out in the New England area last year for the run to the finals against the Warriors was, I mean, I've always been a Celtics fan. My dad is a Celtics fan, so that's really all that comes from. I think his older brother was a Knicks fan, so he just wanted to be a contrarian. That's all that was. We're not from Boston, but I would say I follow basketball. I get very involved during playoffs. So I think this has been an exciting playoffs this
I have
year.
a really hot take.
I heard you say that on a
Before,
previous episode.
and it wasn't that hot of a take.
No, I thought you alluded to it. I could be wrong. We might have just talked about it before this pod.
I think that's what happened.
Well, then, yeah, just disregard whatever the fuck
But
I'm
a
saying.
very hot take for basketball. I don't know if it's actually a very hot take. It's
I'll let
definitely
you
a hot
know.
take. Steph Curry is going to win the NBA Finals, and Steph Curry is going to retire from basketball. This is Steph Curry's final year playing basketball on the contingent that he wins the NBA Finals. He's not retiring, but he's going to win the NBA Finals and he's going to retire.
There are two separate takes there. I think the hotter of the two are that he retires. I don't think that him winning the NBA Finals is out of the realm because the Warriors figure out how to play in the playoffs without fail.
But this is their, and this part I've heard elsewhere, like on the Dan Patrick Show and stuff. This is the Warriors' last dance. I feel like if he wins the NBA Finals, he's going to retire. That team's not going to be the same. Klay Thompson's still a very good basketball player. He's washed. He's old. He gets hurt. Draymond Green is going to be gone. Like they're not going to be the same team. They're very young. They're not going to be the same team.
They're very young outside of those three. Like it's weird to see how the core has developed. It really is.
They do a phenomenal job drafting.
It's phenomenal. And then you look back, what was it, 3 years ago? They had was it the first pick or the second pick of the draft? It was the second pick.
Wiggins, right?
Yeah,
No.
after that.
Wiseman.
Wiseman, yeah.
Yes.
And that's terrifying to see what they did from 1 year of being repulsive.
But the only reason they were repulsive was
because
Klay
and Steph were both out, and then you knew as an NBA fan, the Warriors getting a lottery pick is not going to be good for the league.
No.
Like it's such a one-off, and I can't think of any other one-off situations like that where you see a gross team like that get so derailed by injuries and then have the second pick at the draft.
The only other hotter take I have, which this one gets a little wild, LeBron James, after this year, LeBron James is going to be a Golden State Warrior. And then obviously Steph Curry does not retire. But LeBron James becomes a Golden State Warrior.
I think it'd be very cool to see those two on the same team. I do not think it's going to happen.
No, me neither. But
I think that would be.
You just said it was going to.
Well, it's a hot take.
It was a hot take. He's just saying things now.
Yeah, that's all I do is I just say things. I can say stupider shit if you want.
He just wants something to go back
I'm sure
to.
we'll get there.
Well, he's going to post a short when this happens in 2024 of him saying
I said this.
I was right.
I'll just keep saying hot takes until I can post.
Until you get something right. Yeah, that's all. That's all Stephen A. does.
That's true.
That's funny.
That is true.
I love Stephen A.
Right under
Dude,
the bus.
Buffalo
love
Bills.
Stephen
Here's
A.
my football one. Buffalo Bills are finishing third in that division this year. Jets and Miami are finishing ahead of the Buffalo Bills.
You also said that on the last pod, and I remember listening to it and saying that's not that hot of a take.
Oh, okay.
I
did say that
don't.
on the last one. You're right.
Obviously, the Jets are going to take a step forward. They got Aaron Rodgers. Whether or not you like him as a human being, and whether or not you like what he's done with the Packers over the last few years, which has been pretty wild, going on the ayahuasca trips before giving them any sort of answer, you almost have to respect it.
He locked himself into a cave this time. This year before he decided to go to the Jets.
It's so funny, dude. Like, just listen. You're like, is this really happening?
I just don't like him, like as a person.
I can see not liking him.
Yeah.
He's still
I like him as
he's one of I think it's being
to make me upset. I think
being a Steelers fan, seeing him win his only Super Bowl against the Steelers sucks. Seeing him only win one Super Bowl is
because he's a jackass.
I think he has a lot to do with how the teams were built around him, and I think that's not a good I think that does damage for his case as any sort of greatest of all time, whether you're saying greatest talent of all time.
I don't even think he's greatest talent. I don't even think he's. I don't even think he's in that conversation.
I think talent-wise he is. I don't think
No,
accolades-wise he is.
even
No, I
talent.
understand what you're saying.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that was clear.
No,
so
that's
that everyone
crystal.
else understood.
I think you put him as, I don't know, if you're being conservative.
I put him like with Brett Favre. That's where I put it.
That's a pretty.
I think he's better
Yeah,
talent-wise.
he's very good.
I think he's
I'm not
better
saying Aaron
talent-wise than Brett Favre.
Maybe marginal.
Okay.
Brett Favre also played in a different era. Like this.
It was hard. It was
Yeah.
Smash Mouth. It was
Yeah.
more Smash Mouth. Aaron Rodgers has definitely been more protected, but he's still old enough to have seen a little bit of that Smash Mouth before they really started making it a priority to protect the quarterback. But yeah, he was definitely more protected than Brett Favre was.
Yeah.
I hope the Jets kill it this year, just so that.
I think it'd be fun to
hate it.
watch.
I would
Funny,
hate it.
so.
I would hate it, but I would also enjoy watching.
I mean, the
That
Jets.
makes sense.
It's a young. They had the offensive rookie and the
Yeah, but what-
defensive
like,
rookie of the year last year.
They're
Like,
buying in completely to win the Super Bowl. What are they doing if Aaron Rodgers
outside
doesn't
of
win the Super Bowl?
I mean, you still have that young core. I
Zach
mean, you
Wilson's
have
a
to.
joke.
Zach Wilson's grow. Like he's not gonna. I think you look to draft in 2026.
Like if I was the Jets, I would have rather kept in the same trajectory. I would have rather kept Sam Darnold than drafting Zach Wilson. You could have used that draft capital to build your team better around Sam Darnold. You picked Zach Wilson first, and he's been way worse than Sam Darnold.
You have a Sam Darnold jersey hanging up behind.
I do.
I
No, but I'm not saying he should be like even if they had Sam Darnold, I still would have supported the Aaron Rodgers move. They're trying to win a Super Bowl.
and I
Like, I
think you
get
have to
that.
do it immediately. I think well,
But,
Aaron
like,
Rodgers
why-
is what 38, 39.
But you can still make the same argument that I'm making. You could have gotten a great wide receiver, a great pass rusher, or something else instead of taking Zach Wilson.
If you're not going to be relevant with Zach Wilson,
Why
why
not
not
be
be
relevant
irrelevant
with
with
Sam
Sam
Darnold?
Darnold and
Exactly.
keep the draft? Okay, I can sign off on
Yeah,
that.
I'm not saying he's like unbelievable. I do hope he gets a chance to start the year with 49ers. Because Brock Purdy's still going to be hurt. I think he's better than Trey Lance.
I think Trey Lance is now officially a boss. I think you have to
So are
write
you
Trey
starting
Lance.
the season with Sam Darnold? If you're the 49ers?
Is Brock Purdy? Brock
Purdy
Purdy
is not
has
ready to start the
is
season
Tommy
this
John,
season.
so he's not ready. I think you start with Sam Darnold. Yeah.
Or do you see if Tom Brady's willing to do like a weird bench ride?
No.
You don't
No.
think so?
I think Brady's gone. I think he said the Miami stuff just to get a rise out of people.
Yeah, but why would he do
I
that?
because he's fun Brady now. Like you saw it even with Tampa. Like I hated Tom Brady with the Patriots. With Tampa, it's like he's just a fun old guy now. He's getting drunk at the parade. He's fun
Throwing
now.
the Super
He's
Bowl
fun-
trophy.
he's-
That
How
was
can you
crazy.
get mad
Threw the Super Bowl trophy like a football, like across boats.
across boats? Like you almost have to be like, oh, I like Brady now. Like it's that kind of vibe with him. Like it's nah.
I can see him playing for either one of those teams.
I can't. I think it's done.
I don't think he's ever done with football. I just don't think he's ever
Dude, he
done with
won,
football.
dude. He fucking won. I mean, how
I
much?
understand that, but I
You know
don't
what I'm
think,
saying?
but he
Like,
can't-
why
I don't
would
think
you
he
take
can
the
stop,
chance?
though, 'cause
I
he
don't
can't
think
stop.
his mentality can stop.
Yes,
I don't think.
that's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
he's crazy. I
Yes.
think he's batshit crazy.
Well, he's kind of like what we were talking about earlier on in this. His life has literally been football until he's almost 50.
And he was like, "Wow, my wife means nothing.
He
I'm going to
literally
continue
left-
playing
he
football."
Left his,
He
left
left-
his billionaire
He did.
model wife.
Giselle with a higher net worth than him, and he's like, I like
football's
football.
better.
He's like, this shit is working for me.
So that's like, that's exactly what we were talking about before.
He's
Like,
built
that-
different.
But
There's
my
not a
fear
lot of
for him though is like, what if you get some young dude, some defensive dude that just wants to make a name for himself?
Yeah, but he
you know?
doesn't get sacked.
There's always
He's
one guy out there.
he's that sneaky elusive where it's like the old man who just
He's
kind
like
of takes
Eli Manning,
one
kind
step
of, yeah.
to the right, but that defender didn't expect him to take that one
One-
step to the right.
One of my
True.
favorite things is I don't know if you'll know where I'm going with this because this is old. He at one point, which this also is crazy testament to his career, but he at one point juked Brian Urlacher out of his fucking shoes, which is insane. That's one of the greatest defenders ever to play football, and he juked him out of his shoes.
But again,
Saying
it's
something.
not necessarily because it was a good juke move. It's
Right.
because Brian Urlacher lined
not
him up
expect
and
that
said,
to
"This
happen."
is Tom Brady. he's going to slide and I'm going to decapitate him. And then he took one step to his right, and that was enough. Like that's what we're playing off of here.
He's also super cool about that. I've seen him on the Dan Patrick Show, like talking about it. He's
Urlacher
cool
or
dude.
Brady?
Urlacher.
Yeah,
Urlacher's a really cool dude.
Yeah.
How could you not be? Right?
That's true.
If you are, then Jesus Christ.
Because you also have to be a bit of a competitive asshole to be like that.
Yeah.
You have to be a competitive asshole to be in the NFL. Like I feel like there's
Yeah.
I think any
sport,
major sport. Yeah.
there's screws loose with everybody up there. Like
Yeah.
it's you dig deep, you'll find something.
AB. He's back. He's
Oh,
back. He's
dude,
here.
I
You gonna
burnt,
try out?
I
Where does Madison Bumgarner land?
I
On what
dude,
type
I
of
don't
scale?
know. I am so
He's not
That's
done. There's no
upsetting to
fucking
me.
way
I
he's
am-
done, right?
Where,
I am in-
where is he ending up?
I am
Where
in
do you
no
think he's ending
way
up?
a Giants fan, but that 2012, 2014, 2016 was insane. Like him, like Brian Wilson sticks out to me. Like the beard is just, that was such a wild time where you were like, okay, the Giants are going to suck every odd year and then win the World Series the next year. Like it was such a weird formula for them.
Right.
And having, Mad Bum at the center of that, it's unfortunate to see him crumbling because he is crumbling.
Where's he going?
I don't think he's going anywhere to start.
I think he is.
Where the Royals?
No, I
Like
think
where
the-
is he
I
going?
think the
You
Red
think the
Sox.
Red Sox. I know you think the Red Sox. I don't think the Red Sox.
I think Bloom has to do something. Bloom is going to get fired.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But is Madison Bumgarner going to save him from getting fired? I know he has to do something.
But if he does, what? But like,
I think Madison
you're
Bumgarner
taking a swing. What if Bumgarner is great?
What if he posts a 4.5? Like that's all you're asking for at that point. A
Yeah, but what if he's
4.5?
better than that? What if he posts a 2.5?
If he
Bloom is going to lose his job. Something has to happen with Bloom. He has just straight up not addressed pitching for 3 years.
Yes, and obviously problematic, which I think we can all agree on that. The only thing more problematic is the way the A's run a franchise. But
True. True. It's awesome. It's actually very relieving for me this year.
it's almost
It's
like
almost
relief. It's almost like
therapeutic.
death
Yeah,
to
it's-
somebody
yeah.
who.
It is. It's totally relieving because now I'm like, the field's open for me. Like,
Are you going to stick with Las Vegas, or are you just
No.
like, oh, they're moving to Las Vegas,
like,
I'm a
fuck
free
'em.
agent? You're a
It
free
is-
agent.
I'm free agent.
You are-
That's okay. That's a great.
That's a cool way to think about
What
it.
do you have to get? What needs to happen for you to get courted to a new team?
I
What
don't
are
know
you looking
yet.
for?
Is it the
I'm not sure yet.
because you can't. It's hard to be like a bandwagoner. You can't pick someone.
I know.
Like,
Right, because that means I can't.
How much
be,
does the color
I can't
scheme
be,
play into
yeah,
this?
is that?
It doesn't. It really doesn't. Honestly, it doesn't. No.
I think it should.
I was actually leaning towards the Braves because I got so many of my old team guys are on there.
Yeah.
Olsen and
Yeah,
Well,
I
your
think-
teams, they're everywhere.
they
They're not
are.
I
They
think
are.
it's-
I could be.
and I
I go to
think-
Toronto
just.
too.
You could.
yeah. I think Toronto, you get more of a break from the bandwagon because the Braves won the World Series, but the Braves also won the World Series.
Yeah, but
And
they shouldn't have.
right.
Kind of.
I think
They
the
should.
Like they
Braves.
deserve. No, they deserved it. They won it.
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
I don't think you wouldn't really be categorized as a bandwagoner if you went to the Braves. I don't think.
No, because I'm a free agent. I can do whatever I want.
No,
you can.
still
You
be
can
a
sign with
bandwagoner.
whoever.
You
I
can still
think.
be a bandwagoner.
I think you should.
You could get like the KD treatment when you
That's
join
true.
the Warriors.
You're a snake.
Yeah, you're.
That's true.
I think you should
true.
do a stadium tour and let it.
God damn it! I'm gonna have to go be like a Royals fan just to have.
No, I don't
cred.
think it has to be that bad. You definitely don't have to go there. I'm a big fan of Toronto.
I can't do it. It's Canada. I can't do it.
Yeah, but they're somewhat close to us, kind of.
It's Canada.
It's far enough.
It is far enough.
Yeah.
But they have that's a young.
So
team.
we
It's
have,
a
I
fun
mean,
team.
we have a 518 connection with the Royals. Matt Cottrero is the new manager there, and he's from the area. I
Didn't
think
know
he
that.
went to Bethlehem.
Oh, I
shit.
didn't know that.
Do you
Shit.
remember? I don't know how much naming I should do, but one of the baseball coaches that knows him very well.
Huh.
And so Matt Cottrero, this is his
Let's
first.
get him on here.
I bet we could, honestly, like
Hey,
on the
you know
off
what?
season.
I'll become a Royals fan then.
Where-
he comes on.
I mean, it's a tough start for them. I mean, shit.
Oh, I
but
know. Yeah.
How about
He's-
Cincinnati?
I
Yeah.
one
What's
of
your
my-
take on Joey
Joey Votto,
Votto?
Hall of Famer.
I think so. I think yes.
Heard
I
it.
think Joey Votto's a Hall of Famer.
Votto's a Hall of Famer.
I think so. I think there's
love the
arguments
guy.
against it, but I think it's one of those weird situations where he's either a first ballot Hall of Famer or
he
he's
doesn't
not
get
a Hall of Famer. Like it's one of those weird situations where there's such an argument
He's
both
not getting
ways.
first ballot.
No, but I don't think he goes 5.
Who's
I
better?
think it depends on who's around him.
Who was a more valuable ball
Because
player?
what's his name just
Fred
got
McGriff or Joey
The
Votto?
crime dog?
Yeah. Or Joey Votto. Who was a more valuable ball player?
McGriff
just got in.
I think McGriff. I think it was a crime that he wasn't in sooner.
Oh,
I
100%.
think, so
100%.
I think
We're at a weird spot with the Hall of Fame.
we are because we're now dealing with the steroids.
Yeah.
So we're very
Like,
much
really
dealing with
getting
steroids.
them, yeah.
We're in like the
David
A-Rod
Ortiz
territory.
got like right in.
Right in, which is
But that's because he never actually he didn't
fucking-
it was
actually
one of those
test
like
positive.
everybody knew,
Yeah.
but there was no
But
test.
he tested positive when they were like testing to find out if they were going to test.
Listen, I
Yeah.
think you know what? If you want your asterisk on it, do it. I don't really care. The way
But
I
how
look
do you
at it
determine
from a
You
fan
can't.
from a fan perspective, dude, I was entertained at
That's
watching the steroid era.
it was the best thing for baseball.
Yeah,
when
it was
happened.
awesome.
It's arguably saved.
So that's why I always go to
extended its
it's
life
the
a little
Hall of
bit.
Fame, not the Hall of Integrity.
I hate that every single person that says that.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
I just hate it.
It's true though. But it's true though. I mean, look who's in it. Look who is the first class. Who's in the first class? There's some dirty ball players in the first class.
I'm sure you could find
Yeah.
terrible things in all of them. Like
Yeah,
almost every player.
Well, you look at
A guy tried to shoot David Ortiz in the Dominican Republic, and that's one of the greatest things ever. I think.
he also banged a drug dealer's wife. I guess.
Well, they don't. That's supposedly
Nah.
not. And then he.
Nah.
And then like 5 minutes or what was it? Dude, I want like a 30 for 30 on that so bad, and it'll never.
Incredible.
It'll never
I think we've
happen.
talked about
Ever
this. That
happen.
would be a 30
This-
for 30 on David
this
Ortiz's
man-
life outside of baseball.
This
That'd be
man
awesome.
literally.
We should write that book.
He literally, like, while in the hospital or right after he got out of the hospital, was asked about if he was worried about any retaliation, and he goes, "I don't have to worry about that man anymore." And then, like, 6 hours
dead.
later, yeah, and then like 6 hours later, it happened before he ended up dead. It was like 6 hours later. They're like, "Yeah, the guy who shot David Ortiz just turned up dead."
Just turned up dead. I don't know. His head turned up one place, his body was another. I don't know.
Wow.
So yeah, the guy's a god down there.
Literal guy.
Yeah.
He is a god down there.
Yeah, I'm sure he actually had nothing to do with the guy turning up.
But he just knew
Yeah,
that
but-
like somebody's gonna take care of this.
You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably damn right about that.
Dude, he's got like he has a statue like outside their Capitol building instead of
Yeah.
like a
Next to
politician.
it's like
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah.
David
Yeah.
Ortiz. Like
Well,
it's
I
right
mean, the
there.
man's building. He's building
Well,
like
he's built
schools,
medical
hospitals.
center. Yeah.
They said in the last like 10 years or whatever, he's built both more schools and hospitals than the government.
You know, it's pretty good.
Well, you take a swing at the kin, you best not miss, or else you're gonna show up missing in the Dominican Republic. Like that's obviously written about that.
That's one of my favorites. I love that whole storyline. I want like a movie on it.
I love the way they play ball down there. I watched a ton of.
They love it.
Oh, I watched.
It's
a ton.
all love.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all love.
Oh,
Dude, Japan too though. Holy shit.
They're
It's
fun, too.
It's a
They
little.
love
it's different.
I look at it differently as Japan because it's you look at them and it's if you're going to excel at something, you're going to excel at something. You have an option of what to excel at.
Yeah.
With places like the DR, you don't have those options. Like you don't have the resources to excel. Like Japan has the resources.
That's true, I guess.
You're right.
With the DR, it's like I'm going to do whatever I can to do this without any help. Like I don't
Yeah.
have a glove.
Yeah, like
You
they
look at
literally just have
Mariano
their plan.
Rivera
Yeah,
and
yeah,
his cardboard box glove. You have
Yeah.
stuff like that going on daily down there. Like
that's a good point.
but it has nothing to do with I'm not knocking the commitment because
Oh, yeah, and
with
and I was more referring to like fans too. Their fans are like
it's
insane.
I would have loved, I would have killed to be at that WBC final.
I know, wasn't that
That
awesome?
would have
Like,
been
oh my god,
Crazy.
one of the best games I've ever
Insane.
seen.
Insane.
Yeah.
Being there for that Trout Otani matchup.
That's awesome.
And it was storybook.
Yeah.
Like you asked somebody in the beginning of the WBC, what's the perfect ending to the
There
WBC?
it is. Yeah.
Japan, USA, Trout Otani, 2 outs. Like that's it.
Yep.
And it happened. Like it's I
Got
get
so lucky, and here in America, I forgot what the like what they had said it was like demographics were like people hated it. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys
It
talking
was-
about? That's some of the best baseball we've seen
Dude,
in
baseball's
years.
like not doing well.
Something like I
And-
saw a stat on like Japan televisions, 96 or it was upper 90s. It was past 95% of televisions tuned in for at least an inning or a minute or whatever they use to measure it. 96% of TVs in Japan tuned into that game.
Yeah, and worldwide, it was like the most watched game I think ever in
Yeah.
baseball. I think.
I believe so.
Because it outdid every
Like
World
everything.
Series.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
That
crazy.
just tells me that maybe the World Series needs to be revisited. The name of it, maybe
Yeah, but
our
you
leagues.
can't even do that though.
No, yes, we can.
No,
There's,
you
you can
can't.
do all sorts of stuff. You're a guy that wants more change, and now you're like backing off of it.
Well, I'm just, like they won't do that.
I
Like, no
think-
business would do that.
No, what I'm
business
trying to
would be like, you know what? We're not actually the world.
No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is like if baseball's that good overseas, what are we missing, man?
I think you should put more weight on the WBC. I think that was the coolest thing. Like
It was really cool.
it's so cool to watch, and I missed it through COVID because I remember seeing what was it, 2017 was the last one before that, and it was so cool to watch at
Yeah.
that age. It was so cool to see, and missing the year, and then like wow, now we're all in on the WBC this year. Well, everybody else is. USA clearly
No,
was not.
everybody here hates it. And I'm
But,
like,
yeah,
dude, that's
it's-
the best baseball I've seen all year.
I mean, yeah. Would you have loved to see DeGrom, Scherzer, Verlander,
Well, I
and
think
stuff
that's
like
the problem with it is like every other country's stars played,
that? Right.
and the U.S. just didn't.
Right. Our starters
they
through
played
the
elsewhere.
semis and the finals, you're like, oh, who is this?
Yeah.
Like it was
I think that's part of the
no
problem.
disrespect,
Yeah.
but
If you can dismiss the logistics of Japan playing Boston in the same league, would you want to see that?
Yes, I think that would be amazing.
Well,
I think
yeah.
baseball should be an international sport.
Yeah.
The logistics are where you get screwed, though. That's
Right.
impossible.
But what
Well,
if you could change it though? What if you can make it so that it works?
If you could find a way to make it work, then I would say yes. I think that'd be incredible.
I think it'd be cool. And again, nobody will go for this because it's such a business now. But I think it's awesome that they're doing the Mexican City series that just ended. It's
Yeah.
awesome to see.
Oh, those
Going
fans
in-
down there! I was so much
going
fun watching
nuts.
the fans. Oh my
But
god!
wouldn't it have been cooler to see the Giants go down there and play a team like a Team Mexico, like that sort of exhibition mid-season? Nobody
Hell
will
yeah.
go
Can
for
you
it.
imagine a San Diego
Yeah, but
going
that-
down
and
to
that's
play?
the problem.
Exactly.
Holy
Yeah.
shit!
You'd
what
have
a
to
game!
you would have to do like a full overhaul of baseball.
And you would
which
also,
would
I mean,
never
you would have to
happen.
pull 2 weeks in the middle of the season, like rather than
You don't even necessarily have to do that though. If you could figure out a way to pull, like you do like a whole overhaul and do like a world baseball league or whatever the hell it would be, you literally have to start from scratch.
you just start from scratch,
you-
right?
This Saudi Arabia, they got the money. Let's make this happen.
The live of baseball.
They've got live baseball or live golf. They'll do live baseball. Let's just get
What if
them
we
all.
just
Can we
make
talk about
base-
live golf?
Sure.
I'm all about it.
Are you?
All about it.
I'm upset with people that any person, and it's not any, but 9 out of 10, any person that can sit here and tell me that they wouldn't leave their job to go work for Saudi Arabia for $10 million more than they were making is just lying.
10 million's like Phil Mickelson got like $400 million
Yeah.
to go over. Like it's you're
Dude, they
making
offered,
what
they
you would,
offered Tiger Woods $1 billion. $1 billion.
you would have to if he won 17 consecutive majors, he wouldn't make $1 billion. Like it's so ridiculous what it is, and I get it. It's blood money. You can say whatever it is.
Yes, I understand.
However,
But everyone's greedy.
you're looking
that's
at
how it
that
works.
check. You're staring that check in the face. Are you saying no? Like I
Well,
get some people
the good
have
that you could do with that money.
right. You can offset it almost. Like if you get
I don't know if that's how it works.
you
but-
can't
but-
offset it. No.
Maybe not.
But you're still taking it. You're still taking it if it's offered to you.
I don't
You're
know.
telling me you're not taking it?
Well, you have to look at it from a long-term perspective, right? Because in like 10 years from now, and you've taken that money, how are you going to feel about it?
Fine.
What's that going to do?
I'll be on my yacht.
What's that
going to
do to up
great.
here? No,
I'll feel
everybody.
fantastic.
Everybody's different. You get a little older, you get a little more nostalgic, a little bit more,
I think
that's-
I
a
think
little
I'd be
more
fine.
empathy for
I
other
think that's
people.
where it comes in. I think it's well after the playing career. I think it's somebody like Dustin Johnson who's made a ton of money blowing coke on the PGA Tour, now goes to live, and I think I don't think it's something he's dealing with now. I don't think he's looking at it now.
I
think
agree.
You don't think that?
I just don't agree. I don't agree with that. Maybe I'm like a different person. I don't agree.
You think you're taking it and sleeping like a baby for the rest of your life?
100% on my Tempur-Pedic fucking $1.3 million mattress. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. It's the same thing I said to every single person that's at work that's been like, "You're hurting my feelings or you're not being nice." Oh, goddamn, I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. To each their own. To each their own.
I don't...
Dude,
I do think it's a tough
every single person
decision.
that's been rich, wealthy, every single person that's been super successful in the world, not just here,
They've stepped on somebody.
stepped on people.
100%. If you don't
So
think
you think
they
I'm not
have,
going
then
to
you're
take money
crazy.
that someone's just like, "You want $100 million?" Yes, I do. What do you got? What do you want me to do? Sure.
Golf? Okay. Sure. I don't know. It's a tough conversation, but I've already said, like, I'm all for live. I'm all for, like, making...
in a perfect world, this is where I'm like, not that I'm going to backtrack because I'm not, but in a perfect world, I would be like, no, I'm against the live golf tour. Like, if we were in an absolutely perfect world, I'd be like, no, I'm not for that. They're getting their money from shitty places. Like, I'm not for that. Who's not getting their money from shitty places? That's why I'm for it. That's why I'm for it.
Yeah, you're looking at it as from like a if everybody else is doing it perspective, though,
Right?
And that's where it gets iffy. That's
Right.
where it gets iffy. It's do I, and I'm saying this as if you throw me that check, I'm taking it 1,000%. Like I'm not denying that part at all. You know, I'm 25 now. When I'm 70, do I look back and I'm like, somebody probably died to give me that check? Like, am I thinking about it? Yeah, I might give it a thought. Do I regret it? I can't say if I regret it. Like, it's like you said, when you're just coasting out there, you've been retired since you were 45 now. Like, you're on a yacht in the Amalfi Coast looking up at that. You're like, yeah, it was worth it. Like,
Yeah, I'd be like, well, I'm glad that person died for this check. Fuck that dude.
Wow. Well, is that it for the day?
guys, if you've learned anything, fuck that guy. Take the money. Like,
We'll just end it right on that one. Crap.
Listen, it's just the way the world works.
I
now.
can't say I disagree, man.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, everybody.
you would like to think it
So
was,
Mitch would gladly step over your dead body.
just hand him a check.
Hey, you're already dead. It's not going to bring you back.
Just hand him a check.
Someone's going to have the money regardless, so why shouldn't it be me?
Right, they didn't get Tiger, they went to
Yeah.
Phil. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Well, that's one hell of a leap, isn't it?
Phil did really well at the Masters, man. That was fun to watch.
That was fun to watch.
That was...
I know we were talking about before how I don't like watching golf at all. I did actually watch a good portion of that.
Well, it was cool. It was
Yeah.
cool to watch. It's fun to watch it when it's competitive and there's a storyline. And
Yeah.
Liv gives us a storyline. So that's... I mean, you can
I think
almost
it's good
argue
for
that
the
it's good for the
PGA.
PGA.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, you're totally right. Who wants this
Well,
boring
also-
a boring game? You want the story.
It also
behind
forced them to
Yeah.
change the PGA a good bit, which it wasn't in existence. Like, if I had to pick one of the two to be successful, I'd pick the PGA all day.
Yeah.
I'd pick the PGA over Live Tour all day. For a lot of the reasons that we talked about. Like, it's not
Right.
cool. Like, it isn't cool. But
No.
I would be playing.
Oh, the check was signed to you.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get it. I understand.
Well, do you know, like, one of the rules with, like, the mandatory tournaments that the PGA players have to do? Like, the top portion of the leaderboard has to participate in a certain amount.
Yeah.
Or, like, they have that. So that the Liv forced the PGA's hand with that. Like, okay, the Liv is putting out, premier golf. We have to make sure that our players are playing important tournaments so that you're guaranteed to see them. Like,
Yeah.
so that, and I mean, PGA players fought back on that. So it is what it is. They made them change it. I think the rules are great for it, but I think the PGA players who are against those rules were against Live for the same reason. I think if you were very much outwardly against Live, you're against the rule changes for PGA.
Yes, probably. And I feel like people, and like this, it gets kind of in the weeds, but I feel like people are mad about the Live Tour for like not the correct reasons. Because if you're going to be mad about the Live Tour, it should be about the money
blood
funding
money.
the Live Tour.
I
Yes.
think a lot of people who are mad at the Live Tour are like, oh, golf should be more like traditional,
yes.
and
Which is,
people are mad
like,
about tournament.
absolutely
Like,
crazy.
they're like,
Like,
oh,
if that's the where you're standing, that's insane to me.
if you're
if you're gonna be upset, it should not be about that. It should
if
be
you're
about
against people throwing beer for a hole in one and not the fact that it's blood money and people are dying for it, look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Like that's if you're taking that stance.
Oh yeah.
Like I think golf should be fun. I think it brings a whole new.
We have fun.
We have fun golfing. We have great fun. I think I would rather watch. I think
Dude,
anybody.
It would be fun to watch like one of our. Maybe we should do that at some point.
I think it should be a pod.
Televise 18 holes.
I think we should televise the Bub Open.
Should we televise the Bub Open?
I think we should do something with the Bub Open.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Our golf games are fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you golf, John?
I've golfed once.
So yes. So you're on par.
I parred the first hole and I was like,
There
done.
you go.
So you're like, wow, golf's easy. What
That's
is
what I
everybody
said.
complaining about?
Pissed my mom off. I went with her. It was years ago. I parred the first hole and I go, done.
You guys suck, man. What are you talking about?
Dude, we got up there yesterday. I'm 10 minutes late. They're already on the first hole. No practice swings. Never swung with these clubs in my entire life. Hit a dime. Just hit a dime right off the fucking tee box.
It made me furious, I think, because I have gone this year and I've like gone to the range and I'm like trying to do that thing where baseball players do after they stop playing baseball and just transition to golf. So I've like dove into golf for the past like year, and like I played the best round of my life I think 3 weeks ago now, and yesterday when me and Mitch played, it was like I think we used 60% of my balls in a scramble. I think it was 60-40, and I wanted to walk into traffic. Like it was, and knowing that it was the first time he stepped out with those clubs too. Like it was, the whole thing was just a recipe for like, wow, I need to look in the mirror right now and figure out what I'm gonna do.
So after you hit that shot, were you just trying too hard?
We were on the same team.
We were on the team.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You guys are gonna compete. That's bullshit.
We're competitive. Yeah. Well, it was after the first hole where we were like, wait, we're on a team. Why are we talking shit to each other?
We
It
were
was.
talking some shit.
See?
Oh, yeah. But golf's fun, man. We have fun. We have a lot of fun when we go.
Well, shit,
It's good that
we've
we
had
found
so
an
much.
outlet.
We've
Yeah,
had
it
so
is.
much with you today. It's been awesome.
It
Man.
has been. I think it's another really fun episode.
Yeah.
We gotta get more guests on here consistently.
Yeah, I think. I'm excited to see where this goes because I'm really happy for you guys that you got it going. I know this is something that you've been talking about for a long time, and I know that you have been having these conversations on the clock for
Oh my god.
for a while now.
Forever.
So it's
Good 5 years, probably.
so it's very
At
cool
least.
that you guys have this going. So
Appreciate that.
Again, I'm super thankful that you guys asked me to come on. It's a blast being here.
So
we appreciate all your support too. You comment,
Yeah,
you
you
like,
do,
you watch
yeah.
all this
I'm
stuff.
trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
No,
appreciate
seriously,
that.
that's awesome. Glad you
Yeah.
listen. It's nice to hear the feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I know that's important. I would
Otherwise
I'd rather feedback than yes men anyway.
Otherwise, it
Me
just
too.
kind of goes out into the neither, and you don't hear anything back. That sucks, right? That's probably similar to being a ball player, trying your ass off.
Nobody's giving you any feedback.
No one
it's-
tells you anything. Yeah.
I'd rather hear what I'm doing wrong than nothing at all.
Right. So with that, how many of you guys want to see Justin take a Yeti to task?
We're gonna do a little Yeti durability test. I think.
Yeah.
In a short.
Talking baseball bats and Yetis.
We're gonna test we're all Team Yeti here. We
Big
love
time.
their products. Obviously, you can throw us some product. You can pay us whatever you want to do. We're gonna do a durability test with a
I'm thinking
Yeti
a
cooler.
Yeti Tundra 40 probably.
Tundra 40, 45 or yeah,
The 40.
Okay. Against a wood bat. So whatever breaks first. And
Alright.
Us being Team Yeti, we got high hopes for the Yeti.
I'm gonna guess the Yeti is not breaking first.
But it's gonna be a cool video. We're gonna do super slow mo. Make sure you bring your rec specs out for protection. And
We don't have a slow-mo camera. We can't do
every phone's equipped with it.
I know.
Everything. We'll figure it out.
All right,
guys.
so
we
watch
already
that.
promised it.
Watch for that in the shorts then, guys. We'll have that in the shorts.
All right.
Well, cool.
So we'll see everybody next week then.
I
Appreciate
think
you
so.
guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We'll still be here.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it, guys.
everybody.